Hey, welcome to 5-Star Guns and Gear. So today we're going to do our final review of the Paragon 4-20 by 50 millimeter T, which is tactical model scope. This is their 1-inch tube series. I got some range footage for you guys, actually shooting on this particular competition match 22. This is a gun that I actually built, and we went ahead and put it on there. Very impressed with it. It's actually going to stay on this particular gun. But just to give you some overall idea of what testing we did on this, and I'll show you, we did a box test on it, performed flawless. We also put this originally on a Benjamin Aquila PCP because this can go down to 10 yards, so it's perfect for the air gunners out there, as well as anybody that fires anything from rimfire all the way up to higher caliber rifles. We also set this up on a Remington 700 BDL 30-06 rifle, took 3 shots with it, pulled it off, put it back on the Aquila, and it had absolutely no problems. And after that, that's when I decided to go ahead and remount it on this particular gun right here. Took this to the range and went ahead and ran it out. We do have video footage of that. I actually have my wife involved. She actually shot it as well. She was very happy with it. The clarity, guys, I can't tell you how clear, everyone. The clarity of these optics are very, very nice. This Paragon series, you cannot go wrong in a 1-inch tube. Now, if you're a long distance shooter, you're shooting long range, like I would not put this on my 300 PRC just because I want the adjustments in here. So I'm gonna need a bigger tube to allow for those adjustments. And I've got some information on that on my blog at 5stargunsandgear.com. Go check it out. Have a full blog post that tells you the benefits of a 1-inch versus a 30 millimeter tube and which one would be better for your situation, and then you can decide which one actually fits your needs better. Vector also has a Paragon line that is in 30 millimeter, so if you need that long range adjustment, they've got a scope that'll fit your needs. So that's pretty cool. Very, very, very happy with their product line. And after I tested it out on the 30-06 and put it back on these guns and having zero issues with it returning to zero and everything, that tells me this is going to be able to handle pretty much just about anything you throw at it. So let's go ahead, let's go over the range and I'll show you that. Then we're going to go over to the box test. I'm going to show you that, and then we'll come back and we'll finish up this review. What we're actually evaluating today is the Vectoroptics Paragon. This is a 1-inch tube series. This is a 4 to 20 power scope, has a 50 millimeter objective. We have had this on our Aquila PCP air rifle. We have had it on a Remington 30-06 BDL, and everything's ran out fine. We did some tracking test on it, box test. Everything looked really good on it. Very, very impressed. The clarity in this glass is amazing. A lot of people will be like, hey, it's a 1-inch tube. You really should be a 30 millimeter. That way I'll gather more light. That's not true. I've got a whole video that's going to discuss that. I've got a blog on my website. Go check it out at 5stargunsandgear.com. It'll explain the purpose of the 30 millimeter tube, which is actually adjustability. So long range shooters, you might benefit from the 30 millimeter, but for anything under, I would say 400 yards, I would say 1-inch tube is just fine. These Lurie lenses actually allow 92% light transmission through it, which is amazing. I am using the trigger cams today. We're going to be recording in that, where you can see downrange where we're at. This is one of my competition builds that I built several years ago. I've actually just changed the barrel out on it, so we're running this barrel out. So not sure about the accuracy on this barrel. I did just finish the extractor cut on it, and everything seemed to be running out. I just ran 2 mags through it. It ran beautiful, and the accuracy looks pretty good. We're going to be shooting at 50 yards today, and the main purpose is to show you this Vector Paragon scope and We want to really highlight its benefits, its features, and everything today. So let's go ahead, let's get started. I know you want to see a little shooting downrange, so we'll be shooting and see how this thing works. We're probably going to do 2 magazines. So this is going to be the first one. Let me get on target. And I'm going to adjust this reticle in the camera. Hopefully y'all can see. And yes, you can see another camera come in the field of view. This has a really, really good field of view. That's probably a good at least 6 foot across at 50 yards. So that's pretty darn good. That is a rather large target down there. And let's go for these splatters. I don't have my other refs in my bag, so we're gonna do the best we can on this. Everything in focus. We are going to go for the top splatter target. Wind's picking up just a little bit, guys and gals. Pull that one. All right, guys, that's 10 rounds. And really not highlighting the accuracy of this. If we actually had this on my other sled, we could hold this a lot better in place, actually test the accuracy, but it's not about that, it's about the Vector Paragon. Loving the scope. It does have a fine reticle. I actually like that for target shooting. I think that is very, very beneficial. This is a second focal plane scope, meaning that your edge reticle is towards the rear. It actually stays the same throughout the focus ring. Let's see if I can actually highlight that in the video. As y'all see, the reticle stays the same as your magnification and intensity increases and decreases. Now on the first focal plane, you can see that reticle grow and shrink with it. I do like first focal planes, especially for long distance shooting, but for something that you're doing under 100 yards, it's just perfect. Now guys, this particular scope, it is and this model is 1/10 mils. So this is a MRAD scope here. So you've got to decide if you want MOA or mils. I use both, depends on what I'm shooting, especially long range. Tend to use mil reticles. So mil rad's usually what I go with for that. That's generally what I like to do. Now I use MOA a lot of times for closer precision work, probably bench rest, especially if I can get a scope that has, let's say, 1/8 MOA adjustments instead of quarter. Those are ones that I really kind of look for bench rest shooting. If I don't, a lot of times I'll just go to mills. Mills are a lot easier to dial in if you're dialing turrets and stuff like that, just because it's intense. To me, it's a little bit easier. Once you get used to it, it's great. A lot of shooters in the US, they use MOA, but check out what the military's using. They're using MRAD, and there's a reason. So when you're, especially if you're under pressure, let's say competition or anything that is military related or law enforcement or something like that, and you're under pressure because stress and stuff like that, the less factors that you can get involved with trying to calculate and stuff, the better. So MRAD's better for those instances. So that's my opinion on that. This really did really good. Again, hitting right where we needed to hit. I can fine tune this a little bit more. It does have intensity adjustments on the scope for the illumination. It has 6 different intensities on this. You do have locking turrets, so you can lock these turrets. Both of them are lockable. They are resettable. And this particular model is the T model, the target model, or tactical model. It actually has a 0 stop in it, so you can use a 0 stop as well. So that's something that's really nice, and in this price point, it has a lot of key features, and for a 1-inch scope, it is absolutely amazing. So let's quit talking. Let's shoot one more magazine through this. Let's go back on paper target. We'll just shoot at some dots. Go ahead and get on target here. All right, guys, that was 10 rounds, and did pretty good. Went ahead and fired a little fast on that. I wanted to see how this was cycling and everything. My group's opened up a little bit, but it's still not too bad. Like I said, I'm probably going to go ahead and take this barrel off and lap it anyway. No big deal. And we got a lot of testing to do on this gun. This was just kind of just got the extractor cut on this. Want to make sure that I didn't need to go any deeper on that extractor cut that I put in this barrel, and so it gave me opportunity to go ahead, because we're going to leave this Vector Paragon on this particular build right here. So I took the scope as originally off of this. This is going to be a better fit for what I need for this particular gun. I do like the clarity of this lens and everything. And I think that's where they've knocked it out of the park on this. Now, this isn't your cheap lower end scope. This is not their top tier. This is not their Continental, but it's one step below it. But it is not their entry level scope. So this has very high quality lenses in it, and you can tell that. Now, this will actually, the benefit of this, it will go down to 10 yards. So, and you can dial this parallax all the way up to 500 and then to infinity. So, I really do like that, especially the 10 yards. And the reason why I say that, this is very beneficial, especially the guys that shoot competition with the PCP air rifles. This would be very, very good for you because it will dial down to 10 yards. A lot of scopes do not dial down that far. this one does. So very beneficial from whether you're shooting an air rifle all the way up to center to fire cartridges. I shot a 30-06 with it, took 3 shots through it, did not hurt the sucker. Everything seems to be just fine in it. Mounted that scope from the Remington 700 over to this last night. Went ahead, I bore sighted it here, got it on paper, dialed it in, and we shot 30 rounds, and it's hitting where it needs to hit. It's not bouncing around, and it stays true on track and everything. So very, very impressed with that. Vector has knocked it out of the park on the Paragon series, especially this 1-inch. They do offer it 30 millimeter. So if you need bigger adjustment, consider the 30 millimeter as well, especially if you're shooting long range. But if you're shooting especially if you're shooting under 200 yards, get you a 1-inch tube. You're going to be happy with it. It's going to be a lighter scope. It's going to be all you need. And the power magnification on this goes all the way up to 20. You're fine. If you step up to 30, you're going to get more adjustment. You're going to be able to do your long range shooting, but they offer that in the Paragon line as well. So keep that in mind. Okay, we're going to try to do a little tracking on this. It's windy out today, and I don't have this gun clamped down good, but let's go 1 MOA at 100. It's there. Let's keep going. It's 4 MOA, and we're at 5. Back on 0. Shoot 4. And 5. Guys, that's off because I'm bumping this rest that this is on. So I believe this is tracking properly. Let's go back down to 0. Let's check our windage. About where we need to be. Back on 0. About where we need to be. Sorry, didn't get back to 0. Here we go. Back on 0. Guys, if you can see, it's moved up a little, but that is not the scope. This is because the rest I've got it in. I keep on bumping it and it's altering it just a little. Let's do a box test. We're gonna go up 5. We're gonna go over 5. We're gonna go down 10. We're gonna go over 10. I'm gonna go up 5. And we're going to go back to the center. And that's your box text. Okay guys, that was fun. Glad we got to go to the range. Want to shout out to Vectoroptics for sending this over to me to go ahead and test this out. I actually love the scope. I love the clarity of the glass. 92% light transmission with the Lurie optics in this. I mean, it is very, very crystal clear. Very, very impressed. This is what you find in a lot of higher end scopes and stuff, that kind of clarity, and I'm very, very, very pleased with that. And at their price point, it's very, very, very affordable to get this kind of quality of optics and put it on your gun. Want to also shout out to Triggercam. They allowed us to be able to show y'all what the reticle looks like inside, and you have to actually see us shoot this. Wasn't our best shooting. We did get some pretty tight groups with this, but this isn't about this gun. This barrel's still letting in and everything. I think the tightest group that I got was 5 shots, and we'll do that on a different video. But got down to less than a 1/4 inch at 50 yards. Freaking amazing. Shout out to Vector and Triggercam. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. And going forward, we have the tools we need to bring this information to you, show y'all what we're doing. And we're talking about, hey, this reticle is what we're using in this. You're gonna get to see what we're talking about. You're not gonna have to go look it up on the internet. You're gonna actually see what we're seeing. Super cool stuff. You are gonna get to see what I'm seeing through the scope, and you're gonna get a first-hand look exactly what I'm talking about when I'm trying to explain something to you. So super excited. So let's get back to the Vectoroptics. So this is their 4-20x50 T model, tactical model, 50mm objective. Love this thing. This particular model, overall length is very, very reasonable. Just fit on anything. It fit on the Aquila PCP just fine. It fit on the 30-06, looked great. Fits on this. It looks really sharp on your setup. So very, very pleased with that. Some things that I really like about this is the locking turrets, guys. And when they're locked in place, you're not going to accidentally bump them and pull them out of lock. It's not real hard to lift up on them, but you're not going to accidentally bump like some brand optics. You just barely bump them, and the locking turrets just pop up anyway, and then your turrets are capable of being turned by accident by then. And that's what I don't like about some brands. If you can easily pull up that locking turret, it really does no good. So you actually need something that's actually going to have some rigidity when it actually locks down. And Vector has really done that with these optics here. Sorry, I was trying to pull it out. It was already out. Everything works really smooth. Your diopter adjustment and everything is very, very smooth. No problems there. Your magnification, very, very smooth. It does have a third lever that comes with this. Do like that. You don't have to buy a third lever separate. It is included. If you don't like the third lever, unscrew it, take it off. I personally like third levers, and so I'm going to leave it on this particular gun. But it's one of those expenses that you don't have to actually pay for. Something else I like about this, they provide you very good quality scope rings. Excellent, excellent scope rings. The torque specs on this is 16 for your caps, 30 on your base. So keep that in mind. That's 16 inch-pounds and 30 inch-pounds. If you want some information on how to mount a scope, we got a video. I'll put it up here, and you can go check that out. This is their MRAD, so this is 1/10 mil adjustments on the turrets. They are very, very, very crisp, very, very audible. They are not spongy. They are very, very precise. I really like that. Something else on this side, your parallax is going to go down to 10 yards, which, like I say, is going to be perfect for air gunners. If you got a PCP air rifle, absolutely going to love that this goes down to a true 10 yards. You can adjust it all the way up to 500 and then to infinity. So this is going to accommodate most shooters. It also is illuminated dot in that reticle. It doesn't illuminate the entire reticle, it just illuminates the center dot. I do like that. There are 6 intensity adjustments, and between each intensity adjustment is an off. So let's say you like your intensity 6, you turn on 6, go right to off. A lot of scope manufacturers has off and then your intensity adjustments, and you have to go all the way around to go back to off. This, you can quickly turn it on and turn it off between adjustments. So if you're in a situation you need it quick, you're not dialing that adjustment up from, let's say, 0. If you wanted it at 5, for instance, all the way to 5, you're right there. And then if you want to turn it off, you got to turn it all the way back past those adjustments back to off. You do not have to on this, because Vector has went ahead and made theirs where they have the off and on adjustments between. And there's other manufacturers that shows you a quality scope. They took the time to actually put that technology in where it has the off between each intensity adjustment. The reason why Vector sent me this particular scope, they wanted me to try their 1-inch tubed Paragon series, and me evaluate it and me come up with my own opinion. There's a lot of misconception about a 30mm tube, that if you have a 30mm tube, it's going to gather more light and you're going to see better, let's say, at dusk and dawn. And that is absolutely incorrect. All that 30mm tube does is it gives you a little bit more adjustment, windage and elevation. So if you're a long range shooter, yes, a 30mm tube, 34mm tube might be a better fit for you. Luckily, Paragon has a series in 30mm tube, so if you do need that for long range shooting, definitely get it. The benefits of the 1-inch tube is it cuts down on weight, and if you're not a long distance shooter, I'm talking over, let's say, 400 yards or so, you're probably not going to need that adjustment in most guns. So unless you need it, it's really no need. And a lot of times a 30mm tube scope is a little bit added expense in some cases, so you might can save yourself a little money going with a 1-inch tube, because you really don't need the extra adjustment that the 30mm allows. In this particular instance, in the Paragon line, they use vectoroptics. That allows 92% light transmission. That's where you want it. You got a large objective, a 50mm objective, and you got great quality lenses inside that's allowing that light to travel through. That's where you get your clarity. That's where you get your edge-to-edge crispness. And this scope has edge-to-edge crispness. It doesn't have that hazy ring on the edge that you normally see on inferior scopes. It's got a really nice eye box on it. Very forgiving. So what's my overall opinion? If you're looking for a good quality scope, you're going to go target shooting, you're going to go hunting, and you're going to be shooting distances, let's say sub 400 yards, I would highly recommend this in a 1-inch tube, because you're going to get the very, very, very high quality lenses that's in the scope. And I would prefer lenses over extra adjustability I'm not going to use. So like on this competition gun, I will not shoot past 100 yards with this. This is an absolute perfect scope for this gun. Would it benefit me to have a 30mm tube on this gun? Absolutely not. It looks cool and everything, but it's going to be a wasted feature in that scope, because I'm not going to use the adjustments shooting out to 100 yards with this particular scope. Even out to, let's say, if I shoot a center fire and I'm shooting out to 300 and 400 yards, this is probably going to do just fine. You're not going to have any problems. You're probably not going to need a 30mm tube. You start shooting longer ranges than that, and you certainly may need a 30mm tube. You may need a 34mm tube. That way you get that extra adjustment. So don't buy it based on thinking you're going to get better light transmission because of a bigger tube. That is not true. I can tell you right now, if your quality of your glass is not good, the light transmission is not going to get through properly. And I don't care if you got a 30 or 34 millimeter, it's not going to be as good as if you have had purchased a scope with good quality lenses. And this is where Vector has knocked it out of the park on this. They use very, very good lenses in this. The optical clarity is actually amazing. So very, very happy. So like I say, if you're shooting PCP air rifles all the way up to centerfire rifles, I highly recommend the Vector Paragon in the 1-inch tube series. I prefer, me personally, the tactical style because I like to dial my turrets and everything. I do like that it does have locking turrets, and it has a zero stop. Not only is it resettable to zero, you can actually set a zero stop in here. So that's pretty nice to have that on this particular scope. A lot of scopes you can reset your zero, but it does not have a zero stop. They do have the zero stop in this Paragon model right here. What's been a pleasure on this is the great, I can't get over it, the image quality is just amazing in this. And when we have like the trigger cam or Orion cam showing through these scopes and stuff, it actually detracts. You're not seeing how clear it really is because those cameras go through reflectors to actually where you can see the image and everything, so you're not getting a clearer picture like you are visually through the eye. I hope this has helped somebody that's had questions about the Vector Optics, or you've ran across Vector Optics. Please go check them out, vectoroptics.com. They got an array of scopes from budget entry levels all the way up to professional grade scopes. Their Continental line is their professional grade. This Paragon's one step below it. And I would say this is nearing that quality of a professional grade optic. So very, very, very close to that. To me, this particular scope checks off just about all the marks. This scope is packed with tons of features, and Vector has just gone above and beyond on the scope. That really did a good job. So very, very happy with them, guys. Of course, guys, you can see I'm a little biased on it, but I really do think, my honest opinion is they did actually knock it out of the park. I don't think you go wrong for just about any shooting you want to do. If you want to use this for target shooting, you want to use this for hunting, you want to use this on a PCP, a centerfire, or a rimfire rifle, I think you're going to be fine with this particular scope. Just keep in mind, if you're shooting long distances, then you need to start looking at a 30 millimeter tube. At that point, if you're shooting long distances, I would recommend you go ahead and step up to a 30 or 34 millimeter tube. Take a look at the Paragon and the 30 millimeter tube line. That would be a great option because you're going to get all the same quality benefits. And I believe they actually come with a larger objective on the 30 millimeter tubes that is available. And so that's even more light gathering capability for you, as well as look at their Continental line if you're going to be long distance shooting. Whether you're looking for something entry level or you're looking something that's more professional grade or anything in between, Vector Optics has you covered. You need to go check out their sites. I'm telling you, they've got a ton of different optics, and they got something that'll definitely fit your needs. For most shooters, I guarantee you the Vectoropticsparagon and the 1-inch tube is going to probably fit the needs of 90% or better of the shooters out there. I prefer clarity over adjustability when it comes to shooting short distances. You're not going to need anything more than what the scope offers. So if you want to put a 30 millimeter tube and never use the full range of the adjustments because you're shooting short distances, to me it's a waste of money. But if that's what you want, tell you what, they have a 30 millimeter tube version that's just for you, and you'll still get the same benefits. There again, like I say, if you are a long range shooter, definitely consider the 30 millimeter versions. I think you'll be happier with that because you're going to get the added adjustability. So guys, that is my review of this today. I think the price is right on par of where it needs to be. I actually think they have a really good price for what you get. I think you're getting a bargain at that. This particular scope has a lifetime warranty on it. So hey, I'm not worried. If something goes wrong with it, it's got a lifetime warranty on it. That is awesome. if you have issues, you know, you don't have to worry about it because it has a lifetime warranty. A lot of scopes do not have that lifetime warranty. Vector believes in this particular series, and they have put a lifetime warranty on the scope. And I understand why. There's a lot of quality, a lot of engineering went into the scope, and I think it's great for most shooters. So guys, if you've tried the Vector Paragon out, leave some comments down below. Let me know what you think. I think it's a pretty good scope. I don't think you can go wrong with it. I think you really ought to check them out. Give them a chance. They really make a great quality product here. Very, very impressed. The fit, finish, everything about this scope is actually really, really good. From the crisp turrets, to the locking turrets, to the zero stop, to the resettable zero, to the smooth magnification. Your diopter is very smooth. Everything has been well thought out in this package. You're gonna get to see this in action more and more on this channel, just because it is going to be on this competition gun, and we are going to be doing a lot of videoing on that. So stay tuned for that as well. Guys, if you're subscribed, thank you very much. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. Hit that thumbs up and hit that bell notification. That way you know when we're putting out new content. Hopefully we'll have another vector scope here pretty quick for us to evaluate. We got some guns coming in. Stay tuned in the future. We're going to be having some more vector optics coming in. Can't wait to get those in. And we're going to show you all their features and all the benefits. Luckily we have two different scope cams. We're going to be able to actually adapt to these scopes. That way you can actually see the reticles in it, and we can kind of evaluate these and go over more. Next box test I do, guys, we will have it in a rigid platform. That way it's not shaking. Sorry about that, guys. Bumps and stuff, got some stuff out of alignment, but it did return back to zero properly. Even though it was shifted a little, that was not the scope. That was the rest that I had it in. I didn't have it on this. I actually had it on an adjustable rest with springs. And every time you kind of just bumped the table, and it wasn't a very stable table, it would shift stuff just a little, but that was not the scope. Guys, thank you for stopping by today. Had a great time evaluating this Vector Paragon 4-20x50 tactical model. And as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next episode.